It's getting tougher and trickier politically 10 months to Kenya's consequential 2022 contest. New parties, new alliances, and new promises. Tonight on Pundit Night, we look at the road to 2022. But first, these are the stories making headlines tonight. Tonight, High Court declares minimum tax provisions unconstitutional. KRA is set to appeal the decision. Kenyans are already choked by harsh economic times.
Young boys who are on boda boda, they have no customers. My fear is that these boys will turn into crime now.
Also tonight, it is not our son.
Akuangi na hizo shida zingine zote za kuzunguana na mtu. Na ni mtu anapenda familia yake sana.
Family of Nakuru doctor who allegedly killed his 2 children defend their son who is currently receiving treatment. Plus, no turning back on CBC implementation. Government says,
Upeleke kotini, we are going to meet you there. But I can assure you as a fullback my mandate. When I say mpira haipiti, haitapita.
The Parents Union will defend CBC in a case filed to challenge the curriculum. And Wairimu is our sign language interpreter. Good evening, I'm Abubakar Abdullahi. Welcome to the broadcast. Now, the High Court has stopped the minimum tax, terming it as unconstitutional, null and void provision. Justice George Odunga says the provisions are discriminatory to companies that are making losses. However, Kenya Revenue Authority is set to challenge the decision at the Court of Appeal. Nazandrin Kilemi now reports on the tax burden. A section of MPs are now planning to challenge.
The High Court in Machakos has ruled that the government's plan to impose a minimum tax on companies, even when a company reports losses, is unconstitutional. In his ruling, Justice George Odunga said it was unfair to pull loss-making companies into the same basket.
However, the imposition of the tax will also affect those in trading loss position, and to that extent, the tax also violates the right to dignity under Article 28 of the Constitution, since it assumes that all those in tax loss position are evading taxes.
The ruling comes as a relief for companies that were wary of paying the 1% levy on total sales from the beginning of 2021, while coping with the economic fallout from the coronavirus pandemic. The ruling is, however, a blow to the government, which was looking to collect at least 21 billion shillings annually. Kenya Revenue Authority, through a letter, however, has disagreed with the High Court findings and says it will appeal the decision. Meanwhile, Dagoretti North Member of Parliament Simba Arati has called for suspension of Value Added Tax Act to stabilize fuel prices and revision of the formula used in setting prices and tax regime.
For sure, tomorrow I'll move an adjournment motion. We discuss about that, the whole issue as a people, because we represent the people. In my constituency itself, young boys who are on boda boda, they have no customers. My fear is that these boys will turn into crime now.
This as Kenyans further lament over the hiked fuel prices that has consequently affected the economy. In Kiambu County, residents protested the unprecedented increase, faulting members of parliament for passing the bill.
Nataka kuambia wabunge wasijifanye karuru, wanakuja hapa kutuambia mafuta imepanda, ofuji tunajua. Wao ndio waliongeza mafuta. Waende kwa bunge walidusi mafuta mpaka shilingi 100. Na kama sio hivyo, mtu akuje na kura yake ya kujichagua. Sababu wananchi wa Kiambu 2.4 million hatutarudisha mbunge mwenye ako bunge na anajua tunaumia.
MPs now saying that this is the time to table the motion and amend the bill as it is now taking a toll on the mwananchi.
Of course, when we also withdraw those bills with not unspent, we'll get into as narrow now we are at the moment. We thought the economy will have grown by 7 point something digits. Now it has gone backward. It's actually less than 4. Therefore, it's up to us to also to look into that same law. It's not cast on stone.
We make laws for a certain time. But when that loss is outgrown, we need to change.
Meanwhile, two Kenyans, Isaiah Odando and Wilson Yatta, have filed a petition challenging the recent increase in fuel prices. Andrin Kilemi, TV 47.
Thank you, Andrin Kilemi, for that. Elsewhere, 4 police officers and a civilian implicated in the murder of lawyer Willie Kimani and 2 other people will now face trial after High Court Judge Justice Jesse Lesit ruled that they have a case to answer. Musa Salah reports from the corridors of justice.
5 people charged with the murder of lawyer Willie Kimani have a case to answer. The 5, who include 4 police officers and a civilian, have been put on the defense by High Court Judge Jesse Lesit. Following what was about 30 minutes of submissions, Justice Lesit concluded that the 5 accused persons had a case to answer in the murders of lawyer Willie Kimani, his client Josephat Mwenda, and taxi driver Joseph Mwiruri. The 5 accused persons will now be placed on defense, with Justice Lesit giving the defense team a 1-week ultimatum to present the defense witness statements and related evidences to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions.
And then the list and the statements of defense witnesses and any evidentiary material should be availed to the ODPP and the advocates for the victims within 3 days of today. I've said the counsel for the 5th accused to avail his witnesses' report and the statement of the 5th accused, that is the one he wishes to rely on, by Monday 27th and Wednesday 29th September respectively.
Fair and timely ruling to finding that all the 5 accused have a case to answer.
Jaji vile ameamua pia nimefurahia, sababu wote wamepatikana na kesi ya kujibu na at least tuna hope mambo tu itaisha vizuri.
Imetupea tumaini ya kwamba justice will prevail to the family and also to the relatives and also to the parents, because it has not been so easy to continue with the life the way it was.
On the 9th of this month, the prosecution closed its case in the murder trial, having presented all its evidence and witnesses, paving way for the defense team to cross-examine what the prosecution presented to the court. Kimani was murdered in cold blood on the 23rd of June 2016, a few hours after leaving the Mavoko court, where it is alleged that he had filed a case against a senior police officer accused of shooting his client, Josephat Mwenda, a bodaboda operator. According to investigation reports, Mwenda, Kimani and his driver Joseph Mwiruri were last seen at Mavoko police station. According to the victim's family, the scars of the deaths of their loved ones are still fresh, further asking the court to expedite their long wait for justice that has dragged in the corridors of justice for more than 5 years.
Tangu yanze imechukua muda, junao hii ni mwaka 5 imeisha na sasa tuko the 6th year. Amekufa, tumemzika, lakini kesi iko, media wako, every time unaiona online, unapata my friends, kila kesi ikitajwa lazima upate messages, WhatsApps, nini, so hiyo inarausha hizo vidoda, unaanza kupata hiyo freshness.
Kulingana na vile ilikuwa imeanza hapo mwanzo, tulikuwa tunatarajia hiyo kesi itaisha within 3 or 2 years, but it has taken long for 5 years and yet it is not concluded.
The 5 murder suspects are expected to defend themselves from Monday next week as the defense trial begins. Musa Salah, TV 47.
Moving on, the family of a Nakuru-based doctor who allegedly killed his 2 children has defended him. The family of James Gakara, who is said to have injected his 2 children with insulin before turning to himself, says Gakara was a loving family man. Chichi Josephine reports from Nakuru.
A Nakuru-based doctor who allegedly killed his 2 children aged 5 years and 3 years old and later turned on himself unsuccessfully in his home in Milimani Apartments is still receiving treatment at the ICU facility at the Nakuru Level 5 Hospital.
Mi kulingana na mimi juu sijaona mtu akiwa kwenye hiyo hali ndugu yangu wako. Namuona tu akiwa hali mahututi juu kutoka jana ako inakoma na hafanyi anything.
However, his family has denied allegations that the man had a domestic brawl with his wife. Reports said that the two argued and had a disagreement on the idea of the wife flying out of the country for further studies. The family, however, says they had discussed the matter and paid his wife's school fees.
Pana hiyo ni takataka kwa sababu ni alimpeleka na ni analipanga hiyo shule. Sasa nitasemaje, alikuwa anakataa na ni alimpeleka na alikuwa anataka hivyo sana ndio amsaidie kazi.
It is alleged that James Gakara, a well-known doctor who also owns one of the best clinics in town, injected the two children aged below 10 years with insulin, a substance that is suspected to have taken their lives on the spot. Assorted drugs, used syringes and sharp kitchen knives were recovered at the horrific scene of the murder. The two children were found by detectives lying lifeless on their bed with foam oozing from their mouth. Their father was also found lying on their bed, though he was still alive.
Physically, there are no wounds on the said bodies, but we have taken these samples for purposes of confirming whether the drugs that may have caused the death could have been injected or orally taken.
Mary Gakara, who is a sister to the suspect, described Gakara as a humble family man who loved his family, especially his children. She added that Gakara never reported any domestic issues to them.
Akuangi na hizo shida zingine zote za kuzumbuana na mtu. Na ni mtu anapenda familia yake sana. Kiwango anaweza kufa akipigania familia yake.
Earlier, neighbors had become suspicious after the doctor locked himself up with the children, which they found unusual. Chichi Josephine reporting for TV47, Nakuru.
Well, let's get to matters education, and the National Parents Association Chairman Nicholas Mayu says that they are in the process of seeking to be enjoined in a case opposing the competency-based curriculum, but they will defend CBC since they are in support of the new curriculum. Last week, a petition filed through the Law Society of Kenya President Nelson Havi argued that the action by the Ministry of Education to implement the new curriculum is unlawful. Our senior education affairs reporter Sharon Baranga has more.
Early Monday morning, parents' representatives from the 47 counties were held up in a closed-door meeting with leaders from the Ministry of Education to deliberate on the role of parents with regards to the competency-based curriculum. After the meeting, they arrived at a consensus. As parents, they were in support of the new curriculum that is gradually phasing out the 844 curriculum. The Parents Association says they are in the process of seeking to be enjoined in a case opposing the competency-based curriculum, but they will be defending the CBC. The petition against the new curriculum was filed through the Law Society of Kenya President Nelson Havi.
We'll join the case and make our values and our intention of accepting CBC with its full benefits of giving our learners talent and nurturing our talents in our children and creating opportunities for self-employment as parents of this country. Because what matters most to a parent is the safety and the future of those children. So we will not allow any busybody to take us back to a steam engine 844. We had better go for an electric engine, which is skill-oriented CBC.
Tupeleke kotini, we are going to meet you there. But I can assure you as a fullback my mandate. And I think His Excellency must have also seen mimi ni sura mbaya kidogo. So when I say mpira haipiti, haitapita.
The Parents Association dismissed some of the assignments doing rounds on social media purported to have been assigned to pupils.
Mathare, Nairobi. Some young boys caught hold of grade 4 and grade 5 children, hung them on the cross, and took pictures purporting that this is CPC, CRE practicals. The intention was to spell the name of our teachers, which is not the case. A teacher cannot do that. And these children were crying. He interrogated them. He's a member of Nairobi NPA. Interrogated those boys, and the boys were saying we were paid by some bookseller, something like that. That's what they said.
You know, it's so easy to oppose things, but you have nothing tangible that is an alternative. Only to say, 844 is not good enough. I was a headmaster for 10 years, and I can tell you 844 is completely hopeless. Because if you are going to be relying on one examination, which in most cases is corrupted through cheating, what have you done to the child? In CBC, it is not possible to cheat.
Our interest, actually, as said before, is our children. What will happen to our grade 1, PP1, PP2, grade 1 to grade 5 children, a whooping 7 million of them? What will happen to our children if the court will say, let's revert to 844?
Parents have been urged to assist their children in working on some of the assignments they are given in school and not do the homework for them. Sharon Baranga, TV 47.
Well, you're watching TV 47 News tonight. Time for us to take a short break. Stay with us. We still have a lot lined up for you.
You are watching TV. Ability is common in everyone. Those abled differently also have immense ability.
Maybe we are not good in both, but we can be good in life.
They reach beyond the limits in their special, different way.
If the society can just be careful on what they call them and how they refer to them, that would at least be better.
They need to be loved. They have feelings. They would like to give love. It's a natural thing.
Catch their story on Beyond the Limit on TV 47 every Saturday at 7:30 p.m.
The brain does not exactly know how to differentiate physical pain from the psychological.
Nilikuwa na feel nimefeel hata watoi wangu.
This month, our sisters, mothers and friends share their heartfelt stories of the pain and struggles with Joy Irongo.
We are all about being authentic and sharing our lifetime experiences to speak hope and empower a woman who's probably going through a rough patch.
Join us as we unravel the heartache.
So the doctor told me she has only 2 weeks to live.
Mimi nilikaa tu miezi 2 tu nikiwa na furaha kwa ndoa.
Every Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
Are you looking to buy a home? Or are you looking to build one, yet you don't know where to start? Well, The Realtor is your home of real estate development information, whether you are looking to invest in the city or outside the city. Untold stories.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Let's get to more news. And the National Cohesion and Integration Commission is in talks with Catholic bishops on reconciling President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto. The commission has also warned politicians against inciting violence.
The National Cohesion and Integration Commission lauded the move by religious leaders to lead mediation talks between President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto. NCIC says it is in talks with Catholic bishops to offer to reconcile the disagreement between the two.
The Catholic Church, as well as others who have offered themselves to reconcile. His Excellency the President and his deputy, the deputy president, and where as NCIC we are able to come in because peace and reconciliation and healing is part of our mandate, then we shall work together
Last week, Deputy President William Ruto said he is ready for reconciliation talks with President Uhuru Kenyatta. Religious leaders are already piling pressure on the duo to set aside their differences for the good of the nation.
So for them to be relevant, to come up and come together and say, now we want to reconcile the president and the deputy. All this time, where have they been? Where have they been? If they have not even asked the president, you told us in the first term, there was a lot of rip-off from your government. Who ripped it? Why do they want to reconcile them? We are going to election. We are hardly 10 months to go. We are just 10 months to go. So everybody is going for election. Why do they want to reconcile the president? Unless they have ulterior motives.
Where we have seen even now the bishops, the imams coming up in the name of want to reconcile the president and the deputy. They have not told us what sins were committed until these people, they can even not see each eye to eye.
Meanwhile, NCIC has issued a warning to leaders inciting violence. The commission wants investigations into a recent incident in which presidential hopeful Jimmy Wanjigi's convoy was attacked in Migori County last week.
We have already instructed our investigators to find out those who in Migori stoned Jimmy Wanjigi and his supporters. I must say that we are also encouraged to see that in a number of places in Kenya, politicians have actually been welcomed, even by those that are of a different political persuasion.
The commission is in the process of drafting a political decency charter to enable it to hold to account heads of political parties when such incidents of political violence occur.
We are drafting a political decency charter that we will require all the heads of the political parties to sign and to commit themselves to live by it and to work with us as well as others who are trying to ensure that there is a peaceful process leading up to the elections of 2022, as well as in 2022 itself, to be able to experience peace before, during, and after the 2022 elections.
NCIC has in the past been accused of being a toothless body. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Elsewhere, Ukambani leaders attending a two-day Southeastern Region Economic Forum in Deputy President William Ruto's camp have raised their concern on scarcity of water affecting the area's economic potential. The Ukambani Hustler Nation representatives have advised Ruto to consider provision of water as key for survival in the bottom-up economic approach in the area. Ruto has said the model is pro-poor and considered not only empowering ordinary citizens through finances, but also provision of social services.
Amalgam my office and the people of Southeastern, we have developed a broad framework that is going to be the basis upon which people from different walks of life in Southeastern will engage over the next 1 month. We're going to have meetings in different places, culminating in one meeting in Makueni, one meeting in Kitui, and another meeting in Machakos, where using the bottom-up approach, we will consolidate the views, the priorities, the intentions, and the wishes of millions of Kenyans in this part of our country.
We are a democratic country. We can't go for war. The only way we can go about it is through an economic revolution. And this economic revolution should be led by someone who has the mind and the spirit to do it.
He is going to be aware of all the needs of all Kenyans. And it's for that reason that the Kampa community and all the people of Southeastern region are going to support the deputy president.
Ile mazungumzo tulikuwa nayo hapa ilikuwa mwanzo wa kufikiria zile vitu tutafanya kuinua uchumi ya watu wa Ukambani ama Southeastern region.
Moving on, the Asari family of the larger Gare community has endorsed Mandera County Assembly Speaker Mohamed Khalif as its flag bearer for the gubernatorial seat come next year. However, Education CAS Hassan Nur Hassan, who was also seeking the endorsement of the same position, backed down, complaining of unfairness in the process, and now says he will be on the race on an Upia party ticket. Elizabeth Mutuku reports from Mandera.
The 3-day Banisa retreat by Asari Family settled on Mandera County Assembly Speaker Mohamed Khalif as their flag bearer in the 2022 Mandera gubernatorial race. The other contestants who had shown interest in the seat stepped down after declaration by the Asari Gare family.
Unfortunately, one of the candidates who had presented his application earlier, who followed us throughout this process, last minute decided to walk out. This candidate is Hassan Nur Hassan. We were left with 3 candidates, Adan Haji Isaac, Ali Haji Isaac Kitty, and the current Speaker of Mandera County, Mohamed Adan Khalif. The community deliberated the matter and finally concluded after the withdrawal of the other 2 candidates that the candidate for Asari in the 2022 gubernatorial race is going to be Mohamed Adan Khalif.
However, the endorsement of the Speaker Mohamed by Asari family was not welcomed by Education CAS Nur Hassan Nur, who says they were biased, now opting to contest for 2022 gubernatorial race on Upia party ticket.
The contentious issue is a question of delegates. The delegates were handpicked. They were picked by people who were sympathetic to some of the candidates. And consensus democracy has never been based on delegates. Consensus democracy has always been based on dialogue and persuasion, so that people can persuade themselves and agree and disagree. And it takes time. It's not a 2-day affair that you come and decide who becomes a governor, and then after 2 days in a small tent you say, we have chosen so and so. It doesn't work like that. It's a very tedious process. It's a process that takes days. It's a process that disagreements are not allowed to continue. It's a process that you don't vote. It's a process that where persuasion and dialogue takes the day. This is what we have lacked in this process, and this is why we have decided this cannot continue.
Mohamed promised to work for the betterment of the communities and the larger Mandera County.
I am a village politician. I'm a commoner. I am a household name in Mandera County. I understand their challenges. I have been living with them. I know what they require most, and I've served them for close to 20 years, and I don't think I will going to let them down. Secondly, we have just started a second phase of this process. We have deliberated with my committee and my community that we're going to roll a very peaceful election.
After the endorsement by the Asari family to be their flag bearer in the